Who are you?
Matthew Gideon, Captain. Attached to the Earth Alliance starship Excalibur.
What do you want?
To find a cure to the Drakh plague before it wipes out all life on Earth.
Where are you going?
Anywhere I have to.
Who do you serve, and who do you trust?
Hello and welcome to Chats, a television podcast, season 6.5. Chatzylon 5 presents Crusade Chats. My name is Alan, and on one level, you've got an ego that's as big as a galactic core. But at other times like this, you have the voice of someone desperately unsure of himself. Welcome, my co-host Magellan, to the podcast.
Hey guys. I finally got the podcast figured out.
200 episodes in.
I think I finally know how to. I think I got it. It's good to be here.
I love improv prompts that I can just throw at Magellan. All right, Magellan, now you are a cocksure woman on her first date with this guy.
You will die inside a new dimension.
That's the kind of lady I'm looking for. That's the future liberals want also.
I decided before you gave the prompt that was going to be my voice no matter what.
you're like la 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 la. Don't care. You gotta do this.
I'm gonna do Lovecraftian demon that has a voice for some reason. No matter what.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing Armageddon.
Oh,
I'm doing good. I'm doing okay.
that's great.
Yeah, I'm fine. I was sick. Was I sick on the last thing we did?
Not that I remember.
Wow, I was sick in between, and now I'm better again. So you don't even have to know that
blessed.
I was sick. It is blessed.
That's always the best feeling when all the stuff you need to do, or at least for podcast, is done before and after your period of illness. Because sniffle season is no fun. But I'm glad to hear you're doing better.
Thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm a little more tired than I am usually, just because I donated blood for the first time today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was an interesting experience because I've been meaning to do it for a while because I want to know my blood type just for emergency health reasons. And
okay. Can I take a guess?
I don't know it yet.
Okay.
But if you can take a guess, and then I'll tell you off air if you're right.
Okay.
What's your guess?
Oh, you don't want the listeners to know your blood type?
I mean, they could, but I'll know tomorrow.
Okay.
I can edit it in if you want.
Yeah, could you?
Yeah.
My blood type is.
My blood type is O positive.
Okay, so you just said it. I'm gonna guess it was AB negative.
Okay.
Is that
guess.
possible?
I have no idea. I did look up recently what the least common blood type is. I believe it's AB negative.
Less than 1% of the U.S. population have AB negative.
AB
blood.
negative. Yep, that's the rarest blood type. Good job.
Oh damn. Okay. Well,
Most common
I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna double down.
You might KFC double down and get a lot back. Yeah. So it was. I've been meaning to for a while because I wanted to know my blood type, and then the Red Cross Center is it's like a 5-minute walk from my work, which is basically 100 miles if you think about how much time you have on your break. So then they were like, all right, you lazy assholes, we're going to go to your office and just do a blood drive today. And I was like, wow, I could do that. And then I did it. And I was in and out in 45 minutes. And they gave me a juice box and a cookie. Mm-hmm. And I did the blood thing. It's not that bad. My arm is still bruised, but otherwise it was completely painless.
Well, nice.
And now somebody has my blood out there out in the wild.
It could be you, America.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Email me if you have my blood. It's like a weird pen pal thing. For those who don't know, this is Chats Television Podcast, the premier television discussion podcast focused on comedy and criticism. And we watch 2 episodes of a TV show every week. This week we watched 1 episode of a cult classic TV show because we finished Crusade. And we needed some help to discuss the quote-unquote series finale of Crusade.
Boy, oh boy.
So we're joined this week by the man who extols the virtues of salt, even in the far-flung future. It's Pat from the Brothers at Infinite War.
Hello.
Well, howdy, brother.
Hi.
You're the other brother.
I'm the. I recently just signed up for the Patreon level that gets you Alan's blood. It's $10, I think.
Hey, yeah, Alan, I forgot to tell you that I did a special
Hold
new
on.
tier.
Patreon.com/chats. What?
Oh my god.
They already have it.
It helped us meet our stretch goal. So now I'm going to do a TV discussion podcast with anybody who has your blood as my way of sort of continuing everything on. Should you... Oh.
It'll be like
Should something happen.
Right.
It'll be like
At least your
whenever
blood,
Kiss came out with comic
speaking,
books
us
with their
still
blood
recording.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So Pat's joining us to discuss what is the last episode in the J. Michael Straczynski authorized order of Crusade, which is appearances and other deceits. Like I said, JMS episode 13 of 13, broadcast episode 8, and disc 2 of 4. Appearances and other deceits was written by J. Michael Straczynski himself. It was directed by Stephen Furst, a returning pal. Welcome back, Veer. Glad to have you here. Londo.
Londo. Yeah.
Londo.
The Narn. That's not Veer. It's been a while.
It's really been a while, and I've lost that impression. This episode aired July 28th, 1999, and it takes place sometime in March of 67. Magellan, my friend, what happened in appearances and other deceits?
Well, let me tell you. In this episode, a pair of Earth representatives come to the Excalibur to give it a PR makeover for people back home. However, there may not be much of a ship left when an alien life force, a malevolent entity spread by human touch, also boards. It also boards. Hey, Pat, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing here?
I'm here to redo your uniforms.
Why are you not?
He's here to redo the podcast.
Yeah.
I would love new Chat's uniforms.
Yeah. The only difference is they have color-coded dickies built into them.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Mine's not color-coded right now, so that's really great and exciting. Every time I hear the word Dickie, I think of the Disney Peter Pan movie, the one from like the 50s or whatever, where the dad, Mr. Darling, like pulls out his Dickie to wear to the party, but his kids were scribbled like dicks all over it in crayon, and it like rolls up and smacks him in the face, and he's like, "Whoa, there's dicks on my Dickie!" And then he fucking runs away and to go to parties and not pay attention to his children. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Pat. So what? Did you pick this? I'm curious. Did you pick this one because you knew it was the last in our discussion order and you wanted to bypass our no finales rule, or
I would love.
Did you have something?
Or did you
to
pick
have
this one
Galaxy
because
Day.
you knew it was the worst Crusade episode? And then
Whoa!
Whoa, that's a hot take.
just took a sip of my AB negative blood over here. Sorry. It's not the
I'd be
worst, but
positive
it's not
that
good.
it's not the worst one. No, I mostly picked it because it's like it's a atypical episode of Crusade. I'm putting this out here now because I have audio proof of it. I had said to Nick that like, oh yeah, if they do Crusade, I think I'll probably do the X-Files episode. And then he went and booked it with you guys, so I couldn't. So, shots
villain.
fired in the Infinite War. But no, I chose this one just because it has a lot going on, but also like the meta-ness of the show talking about the uniforms and the production. And I felt that was JMS just writing back to TNT execs right into the show. It has the return of the actor who played Naroon, but playing his political officer.
Yes,
That's who that was. I was
Yeah.
like, "Who's this?
It's John
Who's this
Vickery,
Kyle
baby.
MacLachlan looking ass guy?"
Yeah, and he even
He
like
does look like an older, chunkier Kyle MacLachlan.
but he did
Oh.
like he's playing the same character he did on Babylon 5, where he came.
Yep.
And he's like, I know what's his line? He says something about like surviving regime changes. I should know, as a little nod to like 10 years ago, I worked for Clark.
Oh,
'Cause he was
wow,
in,
I can't believe I didn't know
the
that
Night
was
Watch.
him.
He ran the Night
He was a
Watch.
part of the Night Watch. Yeah. So yeah, he's just a great actor. So I kind of chose it for that. But yeah, I mean, you guys know me. I've always been like, Third Space is a great movie. You know, I have a weird opinions on things. But anything that's kind of
That's valid.
Lovecraftian. But in this case, it's, you know, Body Snatchers, I guess.
Yeah, as soon as I read that trivia, I couldn't stop seeing him as Naroon, and like hearing it too, because at first I was just like, oh yeah, weird Kyle MacLachlan guy, that's fine, and the other guy, Kevin, is much more distracting as this like very like queer coded
Fashionista.
he's supposed to be like, yeah, he's a fashion guy, and it's some people, I was reading like Lurker's Guide comments where some people were like, is this a dig at like Queer Eye for the blanket guy or whatever? And he's like, no, it's a dig at the network. It's that, but it's also a dig at the network.
Yes.
Like,
That, like, in the
you don't have
middle
a
of this
problem with that,
crisis, let's worry about the uniforms.
right, exactly. Which is fantastic that he gets like this doesn't work as a finale, obviously. This is not how a show ends. We'll definitely talk about like the way it actually wraps up, but having your like one kind of final dig at the network in a show that is entirely like defined in my head as like the network broke the show and doesn't let it exist the way it was supposed to is it's a good moment. It's a nice feeling of like, yeah, he put a whole character in here just to be like, it is essential to the success of your mission that you guys wear gray instead of black. It's him. Those two are from Political Affairs, and they're just entirely they're entirely network execs being like, why is the ship so big? Why is there so many crew? Like, what's this people like? And then they get a distress signal, and Matheson says something to the screen that's like, to the camera that's like, oh, it's practically a ghost ship, which is just Matheson is telling you what the premise of the episode is going to be for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't end up being that ghosty. It's more of a position episode. So, Magellan, you said you didn't like this one.
Yeah, it just is like, whatever. I mean, I think I have said from the beginning that the idea that JMS wants to make a horror Crusade show and make it scary is not something I'm interested in. And this really, really feels like he's doing that. So I wasn't super into that.
Yeah.
Which is funny because, like, that's the part I'm into it. Like, it's not a success, but that's what I'm into, I should say.
But it's interesting.
Yeah.
I think the mechanics of the horror plot are kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like transferring by touch, and they're like rapidly. There's like 10 straight minutes in the middle of the episode of the alien walking around tapping people on the neck, being like, "It's your turn to take the magic nightmare thing." And then the explanation for it is really great, even though it's very convenient that we like see at the beginning when we see the ship and it's all these like really bad CG dead people that seem to just be choking each other out. And then the reveal is that the Kevin guy from the affairs department is like, wait, they're not killing each other. They're touching each other, in a little straight line. I thought that was actually very, very cool. And the way that wrapped up with Gideon chasing the alien through the ship and then like spacing him was like really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think I agree with you overall. It's a goofy episode. It's not the best, but it was very entertaining, and I think the A and B plots were both pretty successful.
Yeah.
And who could ask for a better Crusade episode than one chock full of Max Eilerson?
Well, that was going to say...
truly the king.
I was certain Magellan was going to at least like that part where he's like monologuing constantly.
Right, that's the best part by far, for sure. Where he's like talking about how the alien language doesn't have gerunds or whatever he's saying. I mean, I think he says pronouns, maybe. I don't remember. And then he's like, yes, the captain's log. The thing they say is ship. You're a genius.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
so smart. That's really great.
Yeah, he figures out that's what the captain's log would be. We'd say like, my ship.
They would say ship the most often.
Yeah.
It's fun actually seeing him be a linguist. Like that's a legitimate way to decipher an old language. Is like find the word that's the most common, then work backwards. Because he's like, from there you'll find my ship, their ship, your ship, our ship. And like get all the pronouns that would come before it, and then you can like start to build a language like that. which is super cool. I also just enjoyed like him being kind of a trash man. He's eating rice cakes and asking for more rice cakes. He's like, "Can I get some more of these?" And it's just rice cakes. It's not like alien food. It's not like spoo or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I could get these for 25 cents at Walmart. I could get like 10 of these. And then he talks about how, like, can you believe like 100 years ago they thought salt was bad? Anyways.
Oh my god, that was definitely JMS, like eating a big pretzel while he was doing that,
While
just
he's
doing
writing.
it in an ocean of salt.
I really want him to be like,
Can you
have you guys
imagine?
heard of kettle corn?
Right. He just is a big like salty foods fan. Now I want kettle corn, Pat. What are you doing to me?
It's
Yeah.
because it's heaven's food. Come on.
It's one of the best foods. Yeah, so I liked all of the Mac stuff and him talking. I love that the restaurant guy, by the way, is like, salt, yep. And then just walks away like, this fucking guy don't get paid enough. He's very like retail or service worker type. And he's just like, yeah, this guy is going to talk to me and then I'm going to get on the food. Just fixating on Max like I always love to do. He's in the cafeteria of the ship for most of the episode. As he's trying to solve this mystery of the alien race. And there's a great scene where he's sitting back to back with Matthew Gideon, eating breakfast. I love, like, why don't they just sit next to each other, y'all? Why don't they just, like, be friends? Or coworkers? They have to sit across from each other, like, back to back, like they're having a secret meeting.
Do you think it's like when
Truly.
they have lunch, Gideon always eventually makes it like inappropriately sexy? He's like, I'm trying to eat my cereal here.
Yeah.
Gideon makes it sexy.
So he just sits across so that he can't get anything in his cereal.
Yeah.
Was there anything sexy in this one? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
Not that I mean, all the touching obviously is a little bit.
No,
like,
the touching, yeah.
The touching is a little bit sexual, but not
Yeah.
like. We just came off of watching Lex today, also. So like my barrier for what is sexy is completely broken.
Sure.
Yeah, I say
It's just a bummer that Crusade's going out not with a bang but a whimper, right? Right, guys, come on.
Yeah.
Oh my
Just
god!
give myself a high five. Come on.
Come on.
do the snap crackle. Yeah.
And then Max's plot takes a turn for this, in my opinion, like kind of strange, because when some stuff starts popping off and people are like chasing him, trying to kill him, one of the soldiers on the ship takes a bullet for him and dies. Stuart Greenberg
Doesn't die.
and Max is like broken down by this in a way that almost feels out of character. What did y'all think about that whole like Max being like, did that guy have a family? I can't believe he died for me. He doesn't deserve to die. All that stuff.
I actually thought that it was pretty well handled in character, that his grief wasn't like, he wasn't like sobbing over this guy, and he wasn't like he deserved a good death and blah blah blah. It's this sort of academic conversation that he continues to return to with Chambers, where he was like, yeah, he died, but like, for what? For me? I guess.
Yeah, I
Is that
think the
worth
big
it?
part of it for him was that it was like, it literally was because it was a nameless guy to him. Like, it was just some guy who happened to be there, who happened to be security, who like put himself in danger for him. But if it had been somebody he knew, he might have thought of it differently. He might have been, but he was just almost perplexed by it. Like, this guy just did it.
Yeah, because also like Max's character at this point, he's entirely motivated by greed and by glory and by things that are antithetical to the sort of honor code and self-sacrifice that this soldier clearly lived by. So I thought that was pretty great. And then the fact that Max justifies it all to himself by saying like, look, he was basically the vessel that we captured the aliens in before we blew them up. So now he didn't just save me, he saved everybody. Case closed. Now we're square. Now I don't have to be guilty about this anymore.
I'm done. Conscience clear.
That
Hooray.
that complex rationalization feels very, very Max to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That he doesn't have to think about how the guy sacrificed himself for him, because like, oh, now technically he didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the moment where the Max stuff bleeds into the end of the A plot, which we can jump into. So like I had mentioned, we got this alien distress signal. There's all these dead aliens that all seem to be choking each other out. Very kinky, kind of like groups, kink stuff. Matheson is looking into it. Gideon's looking into it. Dr. Chambers is busy yelling at one of her interns for not being fast enough, named Janie, which is not a sci-fi name. Hey, what's up, Janie? I started the Expanse this week, and the names in that show are equally just like, that's like, is that the point, right? Is that it's not like, what is a sci-fi name? It's just a guy's name. Instead of it being like Matthew Gideon's a little bit sci-fi.
Yeah.
But the main character on The Expanse is named Jim Holden. It's like, that's not cool.
Well, Matthew Gideon follows in the tradition of captain names on this show, or in this franchise, I guess, where the last name feels sci-fi and the first name is like Jeff.
Distinctly not. Right.
It's John. Hey,
Sinclair,
Matt?
Sheridan, and Gideon. Those are great names. But
Yeah.
Catherine Lockley? Is it Catherine Lockley?
it's
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Lockley.
I always forget because it's Tracy Scoggins, Catherine Ztai,
That's what I'm thinking of.
Elizabeth
Yes.
Lockley. Yeah, that's the Holy Trinity right there. of
Did you guys read the Babylon 5 book with
No.
the one written by Brennan? I'm looking at it right now.
Yes.
No,
I'm
I
looking at it
haven't
right
read
now. I haven't read it yet. It's on the
Okay.
list. Is it good?
I really liked it. Only like a slight thing to mention is that like it's about, stranger in a strange land kind of feel, because he's on Minbar for so much of it. And I read the entirety
Sinclair
of
on
it
Minbar.
while I
That's
was in Europe, trying to figure out how like everything works there. So I felt really kind of cool about that. So
That's cool.
dig
the Germans are Minbar to me now, I guess.
It doesn't. That's not that bad of a fit, I guess. I don't like, not historically. No, definitely not. But
No, they don't have
that's interesting.
exactly that cast. I don't know who which country you'd assign Minbar, I believe, or
I think they're the Italians because of just the constant presence of their old buildings.
oh,
And then religious cast. I mean, the Vatican's right there, right?
true.
Uh-huh.
Warrior cast. They're like Italy in the past, I think. Not like present
Old
day,
Italy, ancient
but
Italy.
you've got your warrior fascists. You've got
Yes.
your Catholics, and you've got
And
your
you got the Centaur, your ancient Rome.
socialists. Yeah.
Right. This reminds me of Eiichiro Oda, the guy who writes One Piece. Like years ago in one of his interviews, someone was like, what country do you think each of the main cast would be from? And he like listed out like, Luffy would be from Brazil and Robin would be from England, all this stuff. And a lot of people took that to mean that like if they cast these actors in a TV show, because this One Piece just got announced for being a Netflix live action show.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, oh, that's it. That's canon. And then he put out a thing recently that was like, guys, they're Japanese. It's a fantasy series that I wrote in Japan. Like, it's not anything. I was just doing like a gag.
That's funny. I thought you were going to say that his answer was like Japan. They're all from Japan.
They're all from Japan. No, yeah. I mean, they're magic pirates. So, but yeah.
Right.
There's a name for that when in a lot, especially in anime, there's like a not worldliness to people to make it so anyone could kind of place their own culture on all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Japanese term for that, but I'm coming up with it right now. But jumping back to Janie, my favorite character of Crusade so far, she's trying to jump in and save the alien that they get from the signal who's dying and trying to defibrillate it. And she rushes in and then she is trying to defibrillate it and fails. The thing touches her face and she's like, huh, that was weird. Anyways, this isn't going to be strange for the episode at all.
Mm-hmm.
Chambers thinks that the alien died on purpose, presumably to transfer something. Well, she doesn't say that, but that's understanding the whole episode. That's kind of what it's supposed to be. We found out that Janie picked up the alien's like personality and is just spreading it to other people by touching their necks. So we get a lot of this like, I wrote in my notes that I love a good virus episode, and I would love if someone could like pull up all the times on Scape chats where I was like, fuck, another virus episode.
I'll have to start updating my throw chats Thursdays to that, yes.
Oh, right, yeah, you're the one who runs those. You nasty man, reminding me how bad of a podcast
I am loving it. It's fine.
It is. I'm actually having a lot of
Is
fun
it good
with
now? Are they good now?
Yeah, I mean the first
they're
like
much better.
4 episodes suffer because the show isn't good. Like Farscape isn't necessarily good for the first like 8 episodes.
True. That's very true.
Once the show gets good, our
When
show
Scorpio
gets
shows
that
up,
good.
that's
yeah,
it.
Scorpius is my dad. We're so sorry. We don't want to talk about our own podcast, but there's a part where we're both like, "Yeah, he's like, yeah, bondage vampire, right?" And we're like, "Yeah, we nailed it." Like, we felt so smart for calling him a bondage vampire. Oh, we were so young. Oh, it's so innocent. Just a crack. I'm trying to remember the next bunch of stuff. Oh, then they find out that the weird fashion guy is talking about like, oh, they're not. If you look at the footage, they're not killing each other. They're all holding hands and going to one person. So maybe they're transferring it, and it all leads to the same person, and they have a central body. Because that's
It's such a silly
work.
justification that he's like, "Hey, I'm a designer. I understand lines and where you're supposed to look when there are lines." It's like, cool. I'm glad
No one
you're
else
here.
saw this.
I'm glad you're here. Yeah, it was so like it wasn't subtle. No,
Well,
the assumption that Matheson had was like they were fighting. That's not what a fight looks like.
A straight line fight? Excuse me.
Yeah, that everyone's just holding hands in a straight line. That's not a thing.
It's annoying too because you can't. It's like in a good mystery novel, you should always be able to solve the mystery yourself if you're paying enough attention. But like when they first show them, they're not in a line.
Right.
They make
They're
them in a line when the guy looks at it. It's like, why? Oh.
Yeah, they're like free floating corpses or whatever, which by the way,
Yes.
gross.
Yeah, very gross. Bad CG. Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he realizes they're holding hands. So their plan is to trap them all in one person. Mr. Wells is eventually possessed by the alien as well as a ton of the crew. So they're like, oh, well, we can't kill them because the bodies will die and then the alien will survive. And also that's just morally messed up. So they lock them in a
But
room.
would they have done it?
We have a lot of good conversations. Yeah.
I don't know. To say, would they have done it eventually? They would like, we really can't win, so we have to like vent like half our crew.
I think that would be a more interesting result than the like very clean solution that they come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Because the solution they come up with is to open the vent of the airlock in that room so that they all start to suffocate, so that the aliens are like, oh, we'll transfer to one person and get him out, and then he'll survive, and then the alien race will survive and the bodies will die. Which they do, and then Gideon traps him again, and he transfers to the dead guy, to the guy that died protecting Max. And he's in it. So is the idea that because he's in a dead man's body, that's why he can't like move or talk?
Well, I was gonna say the guy's not dead. He's just
Or he's just like unconscious.
he's brain dead.
Oh.
Like he talked about, he took the PPG shot right to the spinal cord, so his brain
and then
can't talk to his
Chambers
body.
was like,
so he's not brain dead.
Chambers was like, we can keep his body alive, but that's about it.
So that it makes him the
That's-
perfect use for that.
Right, because if he was dead, then they wouldn't be able to go into him because there's no like living soul or whatever inside of it for them to transfer into.
Mm-hmm.
And you get this. This is the one like kind of to me successful horror moment, but it's because Gideon's the bad guy, where the guy is like, finally, I'm gonna be free. Wait a minute, I can't move, I can't talk, and he's like screaming, and then another bit of just top tier dumb convenient nonsense is he's saying inside of his head, I have the secret that you're looking for, or I know what you're looking for. And it's like, don't. So did he like know the Drock cure? Like, what are you doing, guys? He's dead, he's gonna die, don't do this, don't give this to the viewer like it's a little tease. I hate stuff like that where it's just like it's dramatic irony, you know, and it can be done really well, but here it's just like no one was going to find out. Don't even give the
If
viewer
he
that.
did know, he knew that that's what would be the biggest negotiation tool for them, right?
He would have used it exactly. He would have talked about it.
But I guess like
Yeah, so it seems like it's a lie, is what you're saying?
Or it's just not about that because he just says, "I have the thing you need." You know, you never know what he's actually talking about.
Right.
he knows.
It ends up being nothing. It's a nothing.
Yeah,
plot
he may
line,
even talk
but-
about the apocalypse box. We don't know.
Oh, man, I forgot. Oh, the apocalypse box. Too sad. And then Gideon throws that one out, not only to vent it into space, but then like turn the guns on this dying man. We're gonna destroy him. and they gun him out of space, and he's
He
dead.
won't
and they
include that
win.
in the letter to his mom. Like, I blew him up.
Also, an alien possessed him, and then we shot him with like the biggest cannons we have. I'm sorry for your loss.
We should re-edit the episodes that they not only do they shoot him, but they use like the main gun that turns off the ship for like a minute.
Right, the power down
Yeah.
gun. That would be an easy edit because you could just take the shot from Called Arms and be like, cut to dead man dying.
Yeah.
And then so at this point I'm like, okay, guys, technically, according to J. Michael Straczynski, this is the last scene in Crusade. What do you got? Lay your hand out for me, JMS. And we have Max talking about like, oh man, life is important. Who's ever gonna tell these soldiers' parents that they're dead? Who has to like do that conversation? And Chambers is like, Gideon does that. Which you could end on that and be like, wow, that's all right. The captain has hard work. But then we have Gideon trying on the new uniform, the new gray uniform, which is not new in any way. And then he just sits down and makes a call to the guy's mom telling her son died. And you're like, that's a bit cheesy, but sure. Like, it's an important job for a military person to have to do. And then the implication is he does it for everyone. Everyone who died every day. At the end of the day, he has like a pre-written script that he just tells all their parents. Like, I'm sorry to catch you at a bad time, but your son is dead. I'm sorry for your loss. Let us help you as we can. Peace out.
Yeah, it sort of felt like when... Never mind.
What?
It doesn't really feel like this, but when I send texts to parents for parent-teacher conferences and I just copy and paste the same script and change them.
Nah. Your son/daughter is very valuable to me in history.
Right, exactly. Yeah, what a weird thing to end on, because this is like, is this who Gideon is? He's this like honor-bound military leader guy?
I mean,
I guess.
If they were smart, they would put that forward as to help their PR. Like, show this guy and his crew on the edge, right? Instead of uniforms, but like, we're out here, costing lives just to try to find this cure, right?
Yes.
Right.
But like, it's
Screw you, TNT.
basically. Yeah, so much of the episode feels like a good middle finger to the network, and then the end is just like the most bog. It doesn't feel very interesting in the way that the questions and answers of Babylon 5 and even sometimes Crusade are, where it's like, oh, what is the meaning of like authority, and like who do you challenge and who do you trust, and all the stuff that the theme song talks about. But this is just like, yeah, you have to talk to the dead people's parents when they die, and that's a hard job. It's like,
yeah, it just didn't feel very Gideon to me.
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
just like this. I could plug this in to any show about like a captain.
Yeah.
Exactly. A military or fantasy or sci-fi, like fantasy or sci-fi, whatever. You have this scene at some point, and for it to end the episode and to unfortunately end this viewing of the series is.
Yeah, it's so wacky. I don't understand why JMS is choosing this one as the last one.
I guess
I don't get it.
What do you think, Pat? Do you have any?
I mean,
any
I
guess
was
on
gonna be
that?
like, he thought about what was the most important, and then he was like, and then there's this one, I guess. But it's like, because like, again, part of the reason I kind of enjoy it is it's by far the most episodic episode, because it's just monster of the week, whatever. So it definitely makes it weird to have it at the end. I think it's just a matter of priorities, I think.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand why the broadcast order ends with the one
Each Night I Dream of Home.
Each Night I Dream of Home with Franklin, and I think that's a way better last.
I was
episode.
to say either that one or the Technomage, or the ship in
Technomage.
hyperspace. I think that's. I couldn't say it the way you say it. How do you say it?
Technomage. Say it the way Gideon says it.
Technomage.
He puts all the emphasis on the CH.
Technomage. Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Very good.
That's the one where they go to the
the Western planet.
Is it are you talking about the one where Galen
With the dragon
lays the ashes of his lady friend?
No, not the well. That's a Well of Forever.
What's the one with the hyperspace ship?
Oh, Pat, which one are you talking about?
It's the I
I'm
can't remember
thinking
the
of the
episode
other one.
name, but it's the one where like they have the ship that's floating in hyperspace, like the one that's of myth. I kind of like that as a final episode a bit more.
What is Crusade? Why don't I remember any of this show?
Yeah,
I
what?
just
There's
watched
one where there's
it.
a myth.
A
Yeah, the one
fake-
where they have to find it.
Yeah, there's like the space whales.
What are you
Yeah.
saying?
The squids that have sex with the
Yeah.
ship.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
ended
the
on
Well
a sexy
Forever.
note.
That's Well Forever.
That's Well Forever.
Uh-huh.
I think that one's good. I really think that Each Night I Dream of Home should be the last one. It's so weird to end on this one.
Mhm.
And then also like the whole suits joke thing, like just do that early so that then you can justify any time they're wearing something different, as like today they felt like wearing this one. Today
like
they
that.
felt like wearing the other one. I don't know. It's just I think part of the reason I didn't like this episode is because it just was a letdown. Because I was really starting to generate some momentum for myself around like we got some Max development. It really feels like the plot could go some places. And if he's putting this one last, like there must be some final little like hint at what Crusade could have been. And this hint that it could have had a bunch of like C tier horror plots is not a great hint.
At what it would have been, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just like the thinky episodes, and I know that's like, hey, watch Babylon 5 again, and I will someday, but
Mm-hmm.
See, I was
they
going to
did it a couple times.
I was going to propose, I don't want to say a fan theory, but would have made it much better episode and more thinky is if the aliens who were taking over people's bodies did say, yeah, we think we know the cure for the plague. And you ask the question of like, does he talk to Earth Force and talk about, we might be able to get a cure, but we have to like hand over billions of people on Earth to this consciousness. Like, is it worth it?
Ooh.
Because it means
Mhm.
you've solved the plague problem, and now you have a planet of parasite minds, and now that's your new problem. Would it be worthwhile? Like, they're gonna live, but now you have to
They're all alive.
now you have to quarantine this planet, but they're still alive, but they're been taken over. So that would have been a better question that Gideon should have had to be asked, right?
Yeah. That's much better.
And I can see it now. I can see Gideon riding his like cool yellow hover motorcycle, flying over all the people and being like, "I did this. This is my fault." And he's like crying.
Well, he would have
That's
had
what-
to
yeah.
shoot down any ship, just like the Drazi told him to.
Oh my God, you're right. I forgot about that too.
Dang. Yes, JMS, dear JMS. We have a fix for you. Remember Crusade?
Just, re-release the Crusade DVDs with a credit scroll that just says what happens.
Yeah, that just said, "Hey guys, it would have been. Here's a great idea I had in the shower the other day."
Yeah.
It's the end of Animal House. It's just like still frames of everyone that's like
But
Matheson
with
went on
Vera
to become the
Koto
best.
as Flounder from Animal
Yes.
House.
Correct. Exactamundo.
Mhm.
And it's just like, here's what everyone did. Lockley went to get married to the job. Something goofy. Yeah, I'm looking now at the air order, and it's not, I think if you went by air order, you would still run into like, this is confusing, or like continuity confusion.
Mhm.
So the sad thing is there is no perfect order. Like, I have a problem with this one being last, certainly, but I think he kind of assembled it into what could be the best version that he wanted.
Yeah.
For his order, but
Hmm.
yeah, because you look at the air order and you're like, yeah, Warzone first, and Each Night I Dream of Home last. That seems perfect.
Well, and
But
this
then,
is
like-
this is our second half, right? Or do we want to do this now?
Well, yeah, we can transition. So, that'll conclude our discussion just of appearances and other deceits.
Mhm.
And as we move into our second half, we are talking about Crusade as a whole.
Mm.
Because we watched Babylon 5, we discussed all of Babylon 5, and now we've finished Crusade. Hooray! Yay, we finished another
did
show,
it.
technically. The
Not
show's
until
fake,
Lost
but
Tales.
not until Lost Tales are we going to be fully done with the Babylon 5 universe, and then I read the books.
I like how you skip Tales of the Rangers, because that's the right thing.
We're going to watch that to the
Oh.
Rangers. Don't you freaking doubt it. Patrick? Patrick?
No, it's more Nick that's really against it. I've actually never seen it because I just heard how bad it was. So I'm a hypocrite.
We'll watch it as a family. It'll be great. We can all.
Yeah, I want to watch it now to spite Nick.
Ooh.
That's the only reason I'm watching it.
This is whenever
I'm
like
watching
France was supporting one side in the American Civil War. You're on my side now. Ooh.
Yeah, this is like when we started calling French fries freedom fries during the Iraq
Man,
War.
what are those?
Ah.
That's what this is.
When I was reading about JMS's issue of Spider-Man that came out after 9/11, I also ran into like freedom fries discourse, and I was like, I feel like I've aged 100 years in the last 19 years. But I digress.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Crusade and the ordering. I don't think it's even worth like trying to come up with a perfect order of our own
I
for
think
this.
it is. I think we need to put out the official chats order so that people really have to make a decision for themselves.
But you make it as
Fair
a
enough.
Patreon T-shirt with like instead of like a band tour dates, it's Crusade on the back.
Such a good shirt.
And it's just like incomprehensible, like every episode title, and then it's coded with like B1, JMS-13, like C12 or whatever.
And it's like those bacon strips and bacon strip shirts where there's an ampersand after each one. So it's just like
yeah.
S1E1 Warzone and S1E2 The Long Road and S1E3 The Well of Forever. You're like, I'm
And then
dying.
they all end with comma and then sunny like Burbank or whatever location you chose for that episode.
Whatever the Chatzylon Studios was. Yep. Burbank. I don't know if I used that one. That's great.
Oh, that's funny.
I want to mention
so-
one more thing about the episode before we move on
Sure.
to Crusade as a whole, but I will sneak in this Buffy reference. So the alien in the pod that grabs the girl is played by Doug Jones.
Who was the master, right?
No, he wasn't the master. He was one of the Hushmen.
Oh.
But he's in Star Trek Discovery. He plays like Abe Sapien in Hellboy. But my reference to Buffy is that he was in Hush as one of the
He's
creepy
one of the
men
Hush
there.
people. Doug Jones is amazing. He's like one of the most mocapped actors, period,
Yep.
of all time.
Yeah, my girlfriend met him. She said he was, despite his like giant height and like skinniness, he's like the best hugger, which I took as an insult.
Aww. He's like the alien and everything. He's the pale man in Pan's Labyrinth, like the guy with the weird hands. He's the Shape of Water,
Silver Surfer,
sexy
and-
fish man. Yep, he's in everything. I love
Yeah.
him. That's fun though. Thank you. But yeah, so to talk about Crusade, I do overall think I enjoyed Crusade. I don't. Here's a question for the table first.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you recommend Crusade to somebody who just finished Babylon 5?
Yes.
Okay. John.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like, I think people know for themselves what kind of TV viewer they are. Like if they're completionists or if they're like, I just want to watch what's good. Like if you're the kind of person who looks up the Farscape episode,
Encyclopedia Project and shit.
well, if you look up like the Farscape skip list that we saw when we started Farscape, and you use it as a tool to decide what to skip, then I don't understand you, quite frankly.
Your brain doesn't work the way mine does.
Yeah, but if that's who you are, then like you don't watch Crusade because you're going into something that you know is not going to
It's entirely skippable. You're right.
fulfill anything. It's not going to make
It's
good
fiction.
on any of its promises. It's not going to go anywhere because it was canceled. But the ideas here are really interesting. At least some of them are. And I think that if you're a Babylon 5 completionist, then you want to see like, oh, this is where the Psychor went. Oh, this is the Drock, what the Drock are doing now. Oh, hey, it's Franklin. I love that guy. Oh my gosh, Lockley's back. That dude is a Minbari. Whoa, so crazy. That's fun. It's fun to just keep watching Babylon 5. And it's kind of, you know that feeling you get after you finish watching or reading something really meaningful to you where you're just like hollow?
Yeah.
I think the antidote to that hollow feeling is to like watch something really closely related that's not that good, because now I'm like ready to move on. I'm good. on
Yeah,
Babylon 5
you
stuff.
finish B5, you finish what's Sleeping in Light, and you're like, oh my god, I'm depressed, and like the show's done, there's nothing left. And then you watch this, and you're like, okay.
I was to say,
Yeah.
in a similar comparison to what Magellan said, was that whenever I read like, you know, a 300-page plus novel and I get really, really into it, and then it ends, and you're like, I'm happy with the ending, but I didn't want it to end. I'll try to find like a short story that by the same author just to read something really quick, like to like let me down from my book high, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Crusade is
Exactly.
for Babylon 5. It's a shorter, you know, it's a letdown, but like you're writing it as it goes down.
Like a Tales from Babylon 5, Tales from the Babylon
Yeah.
5 universe kind of thing.
And I'm someone who also sometimes I'll just watch shows that I know were canceled early because that's interesting to me. So
yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
I have watched like Better Off Ted or like Andy Richter Controls the Universe or whatever because Pushing Daisies because they were canceled early. Because I just find that fascinating. Like, oh, the show wasn't given the chance to breathe, and this is what it was able to do in the time that it had.
My take lands just about there though, where it's like I cannot disassociate Babylon 5 from its production history, from the fact that it was a show that was like challenging a lot of norms and pushing the boundary in all these different ways, and managed to struggle despite like all of its like setup. It still went through a lot of difficulty with like its actor changes, and then like after season 4, all of that stuff, and it still finishes well. But like I said, I can't take that apart from how it was produced and what it means to like the creators of it.
Yeah.
So then Crusade is like the coda to that, where it's like, okay, you got the show that you wanted, nobody wants to watch it, or the network isn't going to give it to you, or they're going to give it to you, but in this really effed up way that feels like worse, some might argue, than not getting the show at all. You know, it's just like, this is what a dream that is edited can look like someone's perfect vision hampered by a million different things.
Right, it makes you more appreciative of the fact that Babylon 5 exists.
And then it's good.
Right.
Because both of them had so much like hampering, and one of them came out good, and one of them is broken at the seams.
Right.
Um,
I've been wondering, like, where would I place Crusade, or what would I think of Crusade if it was able to exist and to live out what it was supposed to be?
Yeah.
And would I have liked it as much as Babylon 5? And I don't think so. Because there are times where I'm like, oh, you know, I just don't have a fondness for the show as much because like it didn't last as long and I didn't get to be with these characters as long. But like, you love Londo and Jakar right away, you know?
Right.
And there's like a magic and an earnestness in Babylon 5 that's kind of not here in Crusade. Like, Crusade is a little bit too, I don't know what the word
There's
is.
only one faction like ever really happening, whereas Babylon 5 you have so many different points of view and cultures. So you can really be like, this is what I like about Londo and about Jakar, and it's that difference that makes it that you can really delve into characters. But everyone here is kind of painted the same brush a bit.
Yeah, and it's just a cast of characters in Babylon 5 that you don't see in other sci-fi shows. Like, what other sci-fi shows are there that are about the diplomats who never go anywhere? There are so many sci-fi shows about like the ship full of misfits who are going to have destiny thrust upon them, and that can be done well. And the reason that there's a lot of those is because you can explore crazy sci-fi planets and do basically whatever you want to do. But it's just like, you know, you go from Babylon 5, which is this so original and unique in terms of the setup and the kinds of stories that are told, and then you go into something that's like kind of rote. And if you like it, it's done to completion and done in a better way other places.
Right, and you talk about like what would happen if Crusade went longer, and there are lots of examples where spin-offs go on to outpace or outperform their original. Daria is one of my favorite shows, and it's a freaking Beavis and Butthead spin-off, right? And it's just like you can make something really amazing out of like this small little nugget of your original series. I think part of it, and to compare it to other spin-offs, is that Crusade it's so detached from Babylon 5 that it's only in the same universe by name and by a couple of characters. Like, it doesn't feel spin-offy and satisfyingly connected the way that so many good spin-offs do. Like, technically, Star Trek The Next Generation is a spin-off, you know? And that's a show that got hundreds of episodes and is often regarded as better than the original series. But, like, that show builds off of what you know from the original series. Of, like, that's what those guys are like. Here's how people are now. Technically, The Colbert Report is a spin-off.
That's true, yeah.
In many ways, the Crusade is the Colbert Report of... And Gideon is sort of a Colbert-like figure. You could
100%.
He likes truthiness.
Yeah.
He does like truthiness.
Every year I start my class with truthiness on the first day.
Yay. You are fully on your shit.
I'm a faithful disciple of Stephen Colbert.
Does it bother you as a teacher that fake news is just used all the time now, like as a word, as an idea? Like it's just everywhere.
Yes, definitely. And let me tell you, I taught a lesson today about media bias towards or against labor unions in the Gilded Age today. Ooh. And I was like, what's the media? What's bias? Like, can the media be biased? And kids are like, yeah, it's never true. It's always biased. There's no, like, you can't believe anything. It's all just opinion. There's no facts. It's like, whoa.
Oh God. Oh shit. Fuck.
No. I mean, sure, there are like things that you have to be on the lookout for, but generally when you read the New York Times, that shit probably happened.
Yes.
I had this English class. You had to take like a 5th credit in high school, and we watched this movie. I'm trying to remember, I think it was all about like a guy who's like in a hostage situation, and it all escalates out of that, but part of it is because the media is spinning it out of control for him. It's got like Dustin Hoffman in it and stuff like that.
Is this Network?
No, it's not. I don't think it's Network. It's like, I think he's like in a bank or something, but I remember that was like, this is maybe more what the media can be, and it's like, it's his own worst enemy, but also like this guy is just, he's almost too dumb to have held people hostage, but now he's in a position that everyone's paying attention to him. And that is like, it was a good example for me growing up of like, that's how the media can be biased, or it can like become this monster without anybody really knowing why.
Is it Mad City?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. With Johnny Travolta.
Yes.
Very cool. Yeah, I think I don't even know how we got on this topic, talking about
Colbert is a spin-off.
that Crusade is the Stephen Colbert of to the Babylon 5's Jon Stewart. Oh God, somebody's made that political comparison too. I can't even think about that. Let's talk about our preferable chat certified order of Crusade episodes.
Yeah, I think that is a good space to go. So I think we can think of this as a puzzle where you got to get the corner pieces first. And so
we restart on Warzone?
I think so, because where else are you going to put it?
It feels really weird watching it any other time.
Yeah.
If we can't delete, our rule is we can't not have an episode because there's only 13.
Yeah.
Then you have to Warzone first. Put the most boring episode first. Sure.
I mean, I put Sleeping In Late as the last episode of Crusade, but that's because I'm an anarchist.
Yeah, you were the one who was like, watch Sleeping In Light when you're done with everything, which is illegal.
Like, it's almost cruel that I suggested it, because I was just like, I want to know what it would have been like if I lived in that world through your guys' eyes, but it's pretty cruel.
It's just...
Can I give my radical proposition?
Yeah, please do.
Warzone episode 1, episode 2, A Call to Arms.
Whoa. That actually...
I'm curious, why?
Because Warzone sucks.
Uh-huh.
And
Call to Arms has great music.
At least A Call to Arms is like... I don't know. There's just something about going from A Call to Arms to then going like into Warzone, that's a bummer. So if you
Yeah.
start with Warzone and you're like, here's all the characters, and then you sort of flash back, this is where it all started. Then you do whatever it was. The Long Road, is that what we watched first? Where it starts with that like video game cutscene at the beginning, where Gideon's talking to the frickin' Drazi guy. Is that The Long Road?
We did Racing the Night first, but
Racing the Night. Yeah, then you do Racing the Night after Call to Arms.
I just want to get to Homunculus Galen as quickly as possible. So yeah, Racing the Night after Call to Arms. That's good.
Yeah, and that just slaps you in the face with Crusade's CG problems.
If you want, you can just early on you can knock out all of the Galen episodes. So you can Well of Forever, Path of Sorrows, and then the one with his dad, who's not his dad, The Memory of War.
Mm-hmm.
Is it The Memory of War? Technologies are forbidden to venture in the
Do you think the show's better without him? Or like you just get him over and done with? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just think his episodes kind of have a continuity to them that I like a lot, and you have his development, and like chopping it up real quick like you're making a delicious soup is just so awkward. Like that his character works better if you do that, take care of it, and then like, wow, weird, he's not in the rest of the show. Okay, well,
that's kind of what the JMS order does.
A little bit.
Yeah, there's like two or three in a row with him. That's true. I think you want to get those out earlier though, because if you're gonna start with Racing in the Night and you're gonna be like, what's the deal with Galen? He's got like powers.
Mm-hmm.
Because Racing in the Night's a pretty good early season episode, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one where Galen like walks in and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Galen's here," and the camera's like, "Look, it's Galen."
That needs to be the first episode. Is that what you're saying?
Right
that
after
needs to be
Call
the
to
first of the
Arms,
Galen
right.
saga.
That needs to be right after Call to Arms, but I don't remember which one that is.
I want to say that's the Needs of Earth, but I could be completely.
The Needs of Earth. The crew rescue an individual whom the Rangers claim possesses all the important information of his race and 6 data crystals. I don't remember that episode at all.
Yeah, that's the
None
alien
of
who
these
has
are
like all
real.
the art history class.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, I think that's that one,
I think.
right?
Okay.
I mean, that's such a generic way to start an episode. It could be.
So
Right, just Galen enters
Warzone.
the scene.
So episode 1, Warzone, Call to Arms,
Okay.
Needs of Earth, Racing the Night.
Okay.
Okay. And then you want to do the Galen ones?
Yeah, let's knock out all the Galen ones.
Okay. So let's see. So you've got The Long Road,
Yeah.
which is where he goes and hangs out with his friend, his dad, which I think actually shouldn't be next. There's one that sets that up, right?
Is there one that sets up his dad's stuff?
Or no, maybe that sets up something.
I think the only one that's set up for him is like him having a moment where he thinks about a girl, but then also bring someone's ashes to the
It's the Well of
To the
Forever.
well, right.
Yeah, I think that'd be the only setup-y thing for his arc.
Okay, then let's do The Long Road where he hangs out with his dad, because that's
Yep.
fun. That's
Sure.
a nice one. And then I think let's do The Well of Forever next.
Yep. Now you know about the lady. And
You
her
know
whole
about the
situation.
lady, yep. And
And then there's a
then
second one that references that, right?
yeah, and then the lady shows up again in the Path of Sorrows, which they have as the next episode in the air order, but I think that's a little too soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think you save that.
Yeah, break it up with a filler episode. Break it up maybe with
Visitors down the street.
yeah, I think Visitors from Down the Street is your filler. That's your like put this where you need time.
Or
to
no,
pass.
freaking can we do each night or not what's the one we just watched? Appearances and
Appearances and
Other
Other
Deceits.
Deceits. Yeah. There you go. You get like a pretty good episode right after some Galen stuff.
Okay.
So then you wrap up the Galen stuff with Patterns of a Soul.
With
No.
Path of Sorrows.
Path of Sorrows. You gotta get Patterns of a Soul in here soon.
Which I don't know which one that is.
That's the one with the hot guy and the cyber people.
Oh, Hawkeye and the Cyber People. Whatever.
My favorite romance novel. Hawkeye and the cyber people. And my
Episode
favorite
2
DC comic.
Right. So, okay, here's what I've got so far. Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Warzone.
Yeah.
Then you watch A Call to Arms. Then you watch Needs of Earth to get that Galen shot and whatever else is happening in there.
Okay.
Then you watch Racing the Night. Then The Long Road, Well of Forever, Appearances and Other Deceits, Path of Sorrows, and you get the creepy alien flashbacks.
Yeah. So
then what?
either Patterns of a Soul or Ruling from the Tomb.
Patterns of the Soul. Let's just
Patterns
do
of the Soul is the
Soul.
cyborgs.
Let's just do Patterns of the Soul.
Okay. And then you have to get to the other major arc of Crusade, which is the Lockley tree, the Lockley episodes.
Oh, I like to putting those together. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely smush those two together. So what do you want the first one to be? The one where she's on B5? Or the one where she's not, like, is a vision that Gideon has on the
I
ship,
think
which
the
is
first
good.
one should be the one where it's the Doomsday Cult.
Okay.
Oh,
That's-
on Mars there. Yeah.
And
Yes,
then they go
that's
to
Ruling from the
Babylon
Tomb.
5 and they smooch and stuff.
Mhm.
Oh, so it's 3. So it's Ruling from the Tomb, and then it's where's Babylon? Which one's Babylon 5? That's the Rules of the Game. So Ruling the Tomb, then Rules of the Game.
Something that I'm realizing is that there actually is a good amount of logic to the original Air Order.
Yeah.
Like we just put episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7 in order.
Yeah.
Oopso.
You know?
But they still didn't visit us from down the street before the finale. Do you like doing the filler episode before the finale? I don't know.
I kind of want to.
No,
I would
think
like to
there
end
needs to be some
Crusade
space.
on the visitors from down the street. To be honest,
Oh, that's a power play.
Why?
That's a power play. I'm telling you.
Why?
because it's just so bonkers. Like it doesn't fit
Only if
anywhere.
is the last shot when he has the shirt on and he's in the wind
Yes.
tunnel.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh yes.
Is that Visitors?
Then yes. Oh no, that's not Visitors. Yeah, it is. That's Visitors.
I'm getting confused because I secretly
You
put
put it
that
in
one
the
as the
wrong
thumbnail
week.
for the wrong episode.
Okay, so that's the finale then. Visitors from Down the Street is the finale.
You want the final episode of Crusade, the final shot to be Gideon enjoying wind.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
on vacation because his show got canceled. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to end on.
Aww.
He's
That's what I.
he's
That's
both
the symbolism.
he's both burdened and freed and got his freedom back. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 2,
Love
3,
it.
4, 6, 7. Okay, so we have a couple episodes that are not accounted for yet.
Yeah. Which are what?
We have not yet accounted for the Memory of War, which is the
Okay.
one where it's like the planet that was wiped out 100 years ago or whatever. Or Each Night I Dream of Home, and that's it.
Remind me more about the Memory of War.
I can't possibly.
His
I
Memory
don't
of
remember
War.
anything. That's the one where it's like they only keep one of their species
Right.
alive to like research or whatever.
Yeah. One wakes up every like 2 years because they only have
Yeah,
like
throw
two
that one
life.
in early. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And then end with Each Night I Dream of Home? Or put it before
Put it right before Visitors from Down the Street.
yes, there it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I dream of home, and then I'm gonna just put. I'm gonna be nasty here, and I'm gonna say, put. No, that wouldn't make sense. I was gonna say go Warzone, the Memory of War, then A Call to Arms, but that doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. Let's just put the Memory of War early, like right before
after Galen stuff?
right before we do all the Galen stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that you can do the Galen stuff and be like, okay, this show's good again. Okay, we've got it. This is the official order.
It's T-shirt cannon now.
This is it.
We
We're
put it
gonna
in the
load it
t-shirt
up in a
cannon.
t-shirt cannon. Yeah, and shoot it at people. Let me compare. Do we have an easily accessible list of the JMS order?
The Lurker's Guide page. I can link it to you if you want.
Yeah, could you? So that I can
Sure.
Or any
do
of
a
the
live comparison
chats.
here. Okay, so This is the chat's
Bless.
official watch order for Crusade. Keep in mind that we just did this just now. You just listened to us do
There's
it.
not really any cuts. You just got the whole
There's-
process.
There's no science to this really at all. We just kind of went with what felt good. And yeah, so this is the order. So we start with Warzone, Season 1, Episode 1. Then you watch A Call to Arms. Then Episode 11, The Needs of Earth. Then 9, Racing the Night. Then 10, The Memory of War. Then 2, The Long Road. 3, The Well of Forever. 8, Appearances and Other Deceits. 4, The Path of Sorrows. 5, Patterns of the Soul. 6, Ruling from the Tomb. 7, The Rules of the Game. 13, Each Night I Dream of Home. And 12, Visitors from Down the Street. Okay.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so that is our order.
The chat's official T-shirt canon order of Crusade, the TV show, based on the novel pushed by Sapphire.
Oh no, I
It
guess this
is-
means that I gave Nick the final episode after all. Damn.
Damn.
Yeah, you're like the midpoint now. It's a completely
Which is where this episode really belonged, yes.
Yeah. Completely unassuming. So you can compare this to JMS's order. JMS's order, I'll just say the numbers real quick. It's 9, 11, 10, 2, 12, 3, 13, 5, 4, 6, 7, 1, 8. Which just sounds crazy. I mean, I think we ended up preserving broadcast order sequence more than JMS order sequence.
Absolutely.
which is
I just looked at
interesting.
broadcast order and we're like kind of there. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's that. Hey, do you want to hear the summaries of the Crusade episodes that didn't happen?
I do. I do. I do.
Here's what we can't watch next week.
Here's what we're
because-
not watching next week.
Is this
and
what
never.
are we
Because
going to be
it
doing
doesn't
audio
exist.
plays? I'll cast myself as Galen. Thank you.
Oh boy.
We might take one of those scripts and do a reading on a Knights at some point. So be on the lookout for that, everybody. But for now,
Yeah.
here's what we're not watching next week. Season 1, Episode 14, To the Ends of the Earth. The Apocalypse Box directs Gideon to a ship like the one that destroyed Cerberus. This episode further expanded on the story of the unidentified black craft seen in Gideon's flashbacks. Season 1, Episode 15,
Huh.
Value Judgments. The crew of Excalibur discovers a vault with a lock that requires a telepath to open it. This episode expanded on the fate of the Psi Corps and would have seen the return of Bester.
Ooh.
Season 1, Episode 16, Darkness of the Soul. Episode involving the Apocalypse Box. Scripting was about to begin when the series was canceled.
No, that sounds great.
That's the one I think I want to see more than the Bester one.
Yes.
Season 1, Episode 17, Tried and True. Dorina is imprisoned and interrogated by her mother, Nafik, as to what she is doing on Excalibur. This episode was intended as a standalone coming-of-age story for Dorina, not connected to a story arc.
Oh my God, Mafik is from A Call to Arms, or he was in A Call to Arms briefly.
Oh,
I
her
think.
mentor. I said mother, but mentor.
Oh, I was like, Mom.
I want to be a thief.
Which one was he
Season
in?
1, Episode...
Which one was he
Oh,
in
sorry,
Call
go
to
ahead.
Arms?
I don't
He's the one guy she sees in the club, I believe, and she's like, "Hey, what's up?" He's got like the cowboy hat. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Season 1, Episode 18, TBA. Episode would have
Nice.
involved the discovery of a construction base. Only exists as a one-line description.
Oh.
Season 1, Episode 19, War Story. Dorina is abducted by an unknown ship under circumstances that leave Matheson feeling as though he's responsible.
Oh, that's part of it. That was part of a trilogy.
Season 1, Episode 20, The Walls of Hell. In attempt to rescue Dorina, Matheson gets possessed by the Apocalypse Box and subsequently takes over the ship.
What?
That's
This one-
Okay.
crazy.
Like, can I just... Is the idea that the Apocalypse Box is, what, a dead version of Gideon or something?
Yes.
Oh, man, I
Yes.
love that idea that he takes over his own ship, but he's his own dead self. I don't know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Also fantastic, and this is like appealing to us and just us. The other wiki summary of the Walls of Hell, the second part of the planned Sword trilogy, would have been a contained story almost entirely featuring Gideon and Matheson in a room talking. Oh,
Whoa, weird.
My lunch with
I
Gideon.
just want that.
Then there's season 1, episode 21, TBA. Darina returns with a magical sword and without any memory of what happened to her.
It's a character reset. That's unfortunate.
Like permanently?
No, I think she just doesn't
how she
know
got the
where
sword.
she got it. I think she
Yeah.
knows who she
Okay.
is, but
Oh,
she's
she
like,
is.
I have this sword. I don't know where it's from.
Great. Great.
Then the season 1 finale, season 1, episode 22, The End of the Line. Gideon learns of the origins of the ship that destroyed Cerberus and of a conspiracy at the heart of the Earth Alliance. This was to have been the season finale, with a major cliffhanger leading into season 2.
Mm.
That
Which-
cliffhanger being that he dies, right? I think that's what it was.
It ends on a sniper scope of it aiming at his head. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That one has a script, I believe. So we might. That's one of the ones that we can theoretically check out in the future.
I think we should.
I think that's a good
one
one
to do.
to dive into.
To do. Yeah. That's so weird. That's so everything
But
about that's weird. And the fact that this hybrid ship that he saw keeps coming. Well, they wanted it to keep coming back. Like, why, guys?
Mm-hmm.
There's
Just-
no
I don't-
it doesn't sound like any of those. Do any of those have Galen mentioned?
Not
No,
mentioned.
it didn't sound like it.
Mm.
I wonder if Galen wasn't going to
Be as prominent.
like. Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Truly, who knows? With this fake show that I had a lot of fun watching with my friends.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about with Crusade before we close the book on it for now?
That's it. That's
No.
all I got. It's good. It's fine. I'm gonna miss Max.
I'm gonna miss Max so much. I want to watch that. Is that actor still alive?
He passed away now.
Oh,
I when I started rewatching, I checked because I liked him so much right away. But he passed away, I think, in like 2003 or 4 or something like that.
that sucks.
The section, I know this happens with a lot of people in their 50s and 60s, but like the chunk of JMS's autobiography where he's like, and then all of my friends died is incredibly sad, but also like some of the people that were on the cast of Babylon 5 are like kind of not nice. We're kind of like not nice people.
Oh yeah,
And I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but like,
yeah,
damn.
yeah. You work with the people.
John, I told you the Jerry Doyle.
you
thing,
told
right?
me. You told me. Yeah.
You did. Yeah.
I told both of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just it's yeah. We don't need to get into it. People should definitely check out Becoming Superman if you haven't already plugged it a bajillion times and you care about the history of JMS as a person and the shows that he worked on.
And if anyone
Mhm.
finds
yeah.
the Apocalypse box prop on sale on eBay, you have to let the guys know.
At Chatspot on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's what the Patreon is building up to. Is we're gonna buy the Apocalypse
Yeah.
box.
I recently saw JMS posted on Twitter that he was selling
The medal
prop.
from the line or on
the medal from like that Sinclair got at the Battle of the Line, and I was like, "Ooh, what would it be like for Chats to own this?" And it was like thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Well, it was an eBay auction, so it's just gonna keep going up until somebody
Yeah.
cuckoo spaghetti buys it.
Mhm.
Yeah, he teased that item for like a good week. I think he's like,
Mhm.
something's coming up, and it's actually good. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want the person to buy it to actually be a fan and not just like buying it to collect, like give it to someone who wants it.
Yeah.
That dude tweets a lot.
Oh, he's great
His
on Twitter.
and he's got some of the best
fantastic.
comebacks. Like it's so good.
Just very like
He likes to argue.
polite, but also like a deeply cool dude.
He likes to explain that about what socialism is to people who say socialism is bad.
Ugh, love it. I do love it. We stand a woke.
Oh man, so woke.
Sorry. Majan, before I get canceled any further, can you tell the kids what we are watching next week on Chatzylon 5?
Yeah, we are doing our final movie commentary for
Oh boy.
Babylon 5. It's back to Babylon 5. It's not Crusade anymore. This is Babylon 5.
Yay! We're going back home, baby.
Yeah, they're rolling out the carpet for us. We're going to be watching The Legend of the Rangers. Sorry, just Legend of the Rangers. No initial the. The summary of this film is as follows. The epic adventure of Babylon 5 enters a new age for humankind. The wars have ended, and an unprecedented era of exploration is at hand. Under the guidance of the Interstellar Alliance, the Rangers, an elite military group of humans and aliens, enforces peace and rebuilds civilization.
This came out in 2002.
Yep.
It's
2002.
so much fucking later.
Yeah, like 3 years after Crusade.
Yeah, after Crusade, some people were like, "What? Babylon 5? What is that?" Like, I'm sure the fandom was like super hyped for this, but
How was it?
Yeah, why was this made?
How was it made? Is exactly because is TNT the one that made it, right? Or is it
I
Sci-Fi?
have
Because
I have no idea.
takes place before the events of A Call to Arms and Crusade, titled To Live and Die, intended as a feature-length pilot for a new spin-off. Did not fare well, and no episodes were ordered.
yeah.
So he took one more crack
this
at it.
was
He only
going to
got
be a
movie.
new show.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Whoa!
Super curious.
This is set before Crusade.
apparently.
Well, I know it has.
2265, yeah, 2 years before
I
Crusade.
think it has
What
Jakar
the
in it.
heck? It does. It does have Jakar in it.
Gasp.
So there's that. To
I
look
think
at.
this is the last time we're going to see Jakar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. That's all I need, guys. That's all I require. A Rangers show could be really cool. I'm positive this is not going to be cool, but what if it is?
We'll find out.
We'll find out. We'll rope Charlie back in. We'll do a commentary of the film. We'll
Mhm.
discuss
Sorry
it.
to
It'll
this
be a great
man,
time.
Charlie.
You only get to watch the movies. Yeah, so let's take it to the plug zone. Sound good, Magellan?
Yeah, let's do it.
Pat, you can go first. What are your plugs? You got Chatzylon, you got things to plug, websites, etc.
So as I've brought up, a couple times before, but I like the Lovecraftian style storytelling and stuff. I recently saw Color Out of Space, the new Nick Cage Lovecraft movie. If you can find it in theaters, like it's a very limited run kind of movie, but it was, it's Nicolas Cage being driven crazy by a space rock is the best way to describe it. But it is, I absolutely loved it. I can't recommend it enough. If you're into like Lovecraftian, not the racist Lovecraftian, but the scary stuff.
Thank you.
That's
He's doing a lot of profoundly weird stuff. Did you see Mandy?
yes, it's the same producers as Mandy.
Oh God.
And I saw Mandy in theaters as well, and like I'm that type of person who gets annoyed when people applaud in movie theaters because like who are you applauding for? But there's a moment in Mandy that I like couldn't help myself and I like did like 2 claps, but then it made everybody applause like in the middle of a movie.
Wow.
So
You started an applause. That's awesome.
yeah, and then as more of a selfish plug-in, I would mention to you guys before the show, but my favorite game that I've been playing for some years now is Heroes of the Storm. So anybody wants to play Heroes of the Storm with me, that'd be awesome. You can add me on Battle.net as Prosman Pat 1486, and we can totally group up and be really bad at a video game together.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I might add you. I don't know if I'm gonna get into here HOTS again, but I want to have you on BNet in case we
can WoW.
want to play something. Yeah, whenever I get back into WoW, which I probably will when they.
Yeah, I am playing Classic WoW in between games.
Oh, you're so old. I'm just kidding. No, I played last year. It's great. It's a good time. I think we should bump it over to our plug zone then. Ooh, welcome to the other plug zone. Magellan, do you want to do the plugs this week?
I'd love to. So, there are a number of ways that you can get into contact with us, folks. And when you do contact us, of course, you can share your questions, your comments, your suggestions for future things for us to cover, and all the different things that we produce. Those methods of contact include email, chatspod@gmail.com, as well as Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter and get in touch with us by going to twitter.com/chatspod. Both of those are spelled CHATZPOD. You can also rate and review us on iTunes. We'd love that. That's going to be helpful to us, especially when we start whatever show we do next and we try to, get the word out about our little production here. And then if you'd like to support the show financially, you can do so over at patreon.com/chatspod. And different levels of support will garner you different gratitudes, I suppose you could call them. I don't like calling them rewards.
Yeah, because you're supporting us. We're being rewarded.
Yeah, we're being rewarded. So I refuse to call them rewards. This is just additional content for your money. So at $1 a month, you get access to monthly movie commentaries. We just did Kangaroo Jack for February. Actually, maybe we didn't just do Kangaroo Jack when this is coming out. It depends on when it gets done. Either you have already gotten access to, or you will soon, our February movie commentary, Romeo plus Juliet. We're gonna get a little romantic for the Valentines. $3 a month gets access to Chats Nights, our hangout show / whatever we feel like it is every 2 weeks. And one of those this month will be a Crusade script reading. So tune in if you're interested in that. And then finally, $5 a month gets you access to Pilot Chats, which is the show where we test out new shows. And pretty soon on Pilot Chats, we're going to be having to make the decision of what comes next after Crusade and Babylon 5. So that's all that. Alan, do you have a chatsum for the folks?
Oh, Habibi. I have 2 chatsums. Is that allowed?
Habibi. Yeah, we've done it before. I've done that before.
The people have done it before.
Uh-huh.
And the people have said that I have 2 chatsums this week. The first one is a video game. Pat recommended Heroes of the Storm. I'm recommending a single-player game that's very near and dear to my heart. It's called Kentucky Route Zero. Kentucky Route Zero, whatever.
What year is it?
Right? Kentucky Route Zero was originally announced as a Kickstarter back in 2011, before Kickstarter was even a big deal. The first episode came out in 2013. It's a 5-episode episodic narrative game. 2013. Second one was the same year. Then they took a couple breaks, and episode 4 of 5 was in 2016, and episode 5 finally came out this year. It's all done. This is one of the most important games of the decade to me. It's influenced me as a writer in a big way, and I've written about it in the past, actually. It's a magical realism story about traveling across the American countryside, with a focus on people struggling with work under capitalism and struggling to how do you live under a system that steps on you so hard that you can't eke out a fair existence. Manages to also be funny and magical and mystical and beautiful and heartbreaking all at the same time. And if you make it all the way to episode 5, each one is an hour. You can play through the whole thing in a night, honestly, if you can do that. The last episode ends on such a beautiful, touching note that feels hopeful and in a time that we need it more than ever. So please, if you are interested in games as storytelling mediums, check out Kentucky Route Zero. It's now on every platform. And they have these interludes that were also coming out between each episode. Play those as well, because some of the characters in those will kind of come back. If you like old Americana stuff, magical realism, theater, all of that stuff is in there. And it's super good. I love this game. You should super check it out.
Nice.
And speaking of what year is it, briefly my other chatsum is just a project that I want to shout out that I heard word of recently. It's called Blue Maxima Flashpoint. Flashpoint is the name of the program. Blue Maxima is just what you'll type into Google to find this. If you're like Magellan and I, then you played a lot of online games back in the 2000s on Nick.com, CartoonNetwork.com, all of that. Flashpoint is a passion project done by a bunch of people to archive thousands of Flash games into a downloadable package that you can just have those games for free, because no one's checking the licenses on those. Instead of having to hope that they stay on the Internet Archive, which is a temporary source, somebody just packaged these. It's 200 gigabytes for the whole thing, but you can also get a package that's I only want to download the ones that I'm playing, but. Yeah, it's the whole library of all of those websites, Miniclip, Newgrounds, Nick.com, Cartoon Network, all of it's on there. It's a really good and important project in the realm of game preservation, which is something I care a lot about. So,
nice.
Blue Maxima Flashpoint.
Cool.
Thank you to Pat for joining us for another episode of Chats. We loved having you, man.
Yeah, I apologize. My cat is waiting for his dinner, so there's some meowing going on. Sorry.
The cat must be fed.
And I just would say that my chatsum is
Why do I
Etsy.
always forget? Why am I like this?
See, I just discovered. I didn't realize Etsy.
What's your
had so
Chatsum this
much.
week, my love?
It's Etsy. I didn't realize that this was what it is. There's
Oh,
so
yeah,
much
how did this
stuff
happen?
on here. I don't know. It's just like I recently reorganized all the apps on my phone, and then I was like, "What are some other apps out there?" And Etsy, they're just selling stuff.
You king. You king.
They're just selling stuff. You can get Babylon 5 stuff on Etsy. I'm looking at Babylon 5 stuff on Etsy. I'm looking at posters.
Ooh.
Looking at beautiful framed posters.
For like decent prices. You know why, Magellan?
Why?
Because people made those.
Real people.
Yeah, that's a joke for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never bought anything on Etsy, but I always I love poking around on there and just like type in your favorite property, and like the company that makes that show is not gonna make the merch for it, but like some dude in Iowa, you freaking bet, is making those
and
Babylon
they're
5
doing a
posters.
great job.
Your Christmas present actually, not from Etsy, but from Redbubble, but similar idea. I got you a Babylon 5 T-shirt.
You sure did.
Was a fan made shirt of Kosh, our boy, our big toilet bug friend.
Ooh, I want this season
But yeah,
1
check out
Babylon
Etsy.
5 T-shirt. It's awesome.
Ooh.
Because it's like
yeah.
cooler to like season 1, like ironically.
Right. That's yeah. If you're really cool, you only like Lost Tales. Actually, someday I'll know what that means. Anyways, thank you to Pat. Thank you to Magellan for being with me in these tough times, my sweetums. Who I deeply feel bad for myself for not asking you what your Chatsum is all the time.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay, Habibi.
I just found a shirt that is the NASA logo on font,
But it says Sana?
It says Moya,
Ooh,
and it's got the Moya flying away instead of like a NASA ship.
That's actually dope. The one I know is the K-pop one where it's Sana from Twice, but it's NASA.
I just found some Farscape stickers. I mean,
Ooh,
this is
stick-ups.
really, really good.
Everyone go buy something on Etsy and then send us whatever you bought. No, don't like send us the product, but send us a picture of the product.
Yeah, link it to us so that we can.
Live vicariously through other people.
Yeah. Oh my god, you can buy a Psycore pin on here. Yummy.
Mm-hmm.
You might PPG.
Yeah, 3D printed PPG.
That's a weapon.
Yeah.
That's a weapon. Anyways, before we get lost in the internet, thank you so very much for listening to this episode of Chatzylon 5. Peace.
Bye.